deal or whatever. First of all, they're champions, and they come in here down a man, but the way they shot the ball and the way they played, they're smart, and that's why they won rings. And we got to get there somehow.
Mike, how tough is this for you guys, James, Chris, everybody, knowing how hard you fought the last few seasons and how difficult this team has been to beat?
Well, this one's going to leave a mark. This is not something you just get over with. I'm definitely not going to get over it in this press conference or tomorrow or the next day, but this one hurts. We didn't play our best, and to beat these guys, you got to play your best. It's almost like in a boxing match, you got to knock the champion out, and we didn't knock him out. And we're not going to win on points. We didn't do it. We didn't deliver the blows that would at least get us back to Golden State. But, again, I don't know the degree of difficulty of their shots, but it was not easy, and they knocked them in when they counted.
You held Steph scoreless in the first half, but Clay had 21, Steph with 33 in the second half. What did they do different after halftime?
None. They didn't do anything different. They just played a lot better. Maybe our legs got a little tireder, but Steph was incredible. Obviously, 33 points in the second quarter is ridiculous. But he has those streaks, and I did make the comment at half. That's not good. He's got 0, because he was going to come back and get a lot of points. I didn't envision 33 points, but he's capable, obviously, and he did it.
Well, Mike, you mentioned they're champions, and obviously the Warriors have a lot to do. The players they have a lot to do with this. How much, though, especially fourth quarter, it's close, is there just a mental hurdle getting over Golden State?
Well, I think getting anybody and closing out a series, and it's especially when they're that good. You cannot relax on defense for 1 second. You cannot forget to box out 1 second. You've got to go. You've got to be a champion to be the champion. And I just thought there's too many times that we had a miscommunication. We relaxed a little bit, or we weren't really 100% sharp. We were playing hard and trying to do it, but just not with them. You cannot make a mental mistake, not for a second. There was going to be 3 points, and they got us a few times.
Coach, throughout the series and now in the playoffs, how would you assess the way Clint played and has grown from last playoffs, and where does he need to continue to develop and get better?
Well, Clint was huge during the whole regular season. He played great. And then against Utah, he played great. I thought this series not quite as well, but that's also contributed to Draymond Green and Littles out there and all that stuff. So, I just think Clint is a classy guy. He'll learn from this. He'll get better. He's only 25. He'll get stronger. But, again, it's expectations. And let me just look real quick. Looney goes 14-5, and everybody was saying how great it was. Clint goes, where do you go? If I can read. Clint goes 10-10, and he somehow is not playing well. It's like, so the expectation is way high for him. And I think he was a little below than what his normal stats, his 17, 20 rebounds, all that. But you're playing against a great competition. So it's not like, he wasn't trying. He was getting hit pretty hard and could have been better. But you know what? He's got a bright future, and I'll go down with guys like that. He's a class guy. So if you're going to lose, you lose with guys like that. He's trying to do everything he can do.
Mike, looked like there was double teaming and trapping on Curry. What was the thinking behind that defensive strategy in particular, and then how effective do you think it was in the fourth?
Well, obviously it wasn't real effective. We got 33 in the second half, but it wasn't all the time. We wanted to do it sparingly. But when one time we had it on and we didn't trap him, and he hits a 3. It's just like little things. Just we weren't real quick about adjusting what we needed to do, what we were doing, and being able to take, okay, from the timeout we said trap to the floor, first pick and roll trap, and we don't do it. Just little things like that. And that comes a little bit of experience, a little bit of being in that situation before. Obviously they present a big hump, and we just didn't get over it.
You mentioned this one will take a long time to get over. I imagine that's always somewhat true.
Yeah.
Is there a greater sense of that in that there were so many games with opportunities, and then this last game and a little more with no KD?
Without a doubt. And again, I knew they were going to be tough. They beat us here without KD a couple months ago, so it's not like we came in thinking. But a lot of times, you play not to lose instead of playing to win, and that's getting over the hump. They're playing to win, and we need to get that mentality. And I think as we go forward, we'll get it. Our core is still young, and Daryl will do a great job of putting in other pieces. And again, I know it's wait till next year, whatever. But in reality, that's what we got to do. We got to gather ourselves this summer, get the core group, and bust it next year. And I mean, there's no time limit right now. It's not like, okay, we can't do it next year. Yeah, we can. But we, hopefully we'll learn from this and do a little bit better job.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Look, first of all, when it comes to statistics, this is one that Coach D'Antoni not going to like. Per Elias, fourth coach ever to have his team eliminated from the playoffs at home in each of his first 3 seasons with the team. Chris
Marcus
Paul.
getting out there quick tonight.
Put this into words. I mean, you've been around and you guys have fought hard. What do you say after the game? like
They just
this?
outplayed us. They played smarter than us. They made the big plays when we didn't. Too many turnovers, and they just beat us.
Chris, what'd you think of? Sorry, over here. What'd you think of the way that you guys defended Curry? There were times when he was real quiet, gets kind of hot at the end. What do you think of the way you guys defended?
Yeah, they just started at the end running ball screen with him and Draymond. And Draymond was slipping it. We let Steph get a couple butt-naked layups. Clay moving, hitting big shots. And it's funny because everybody, even Shump talk about it all the time. You say, make the other guys beat you. And, Iguodala, how many threes he hit? 5 out of 8. You say make the other guys beat you, and they damn sure did that. You know what I mean? And then they players made big time plays when they needed to.
Chris, were there points in the game where you felt like you had a little bit of momentum, and then they would either get an offensive rebound or there'd be a turnover or something?
Yeah, all the time. Every time we had a chance to go to 10 or something like that, we make a turnover or offensive rebound, and they, like I said, they made the plays. So.
Last year in the playoffs, you had a lot of wings to combat the way they played. This year, you played a lot more ball handlers with a small ball. Did you learn something from those last 2 years? Do you guys prefer going with ball handlers versus wings against these guys?
Nope. We just lost.
Chris, obviously last year you didn't get a chance to finish the series. They're without KD here. How much is there just kind of a feeling that you guys let a huge opportunity slip?
Regardless who playing, it ain't no moral victories. We lost. We got to go to the drawing board. First thing, analyze, myself, what I can get better at, and, we going home. That's what it is.
Chris, on your left. When you came out of the game, I think 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, was that your call, or was that Coach trying to get you some rest there before the end?
Is that when I got hit in the eye?
Yeah.
Well, I got hit in the eye, so I couldn't, I was trying to make sure I could see again. I don't know. It's a blur now. We lost, and that's stupid. Yeah.
You mentioned back to the drawing board. Is there a feeling in 6 games as close as these 6 were, what's lacking or what they have that you need to get to reach that level?
We'll see. I don't know. We just got to play smarter. I made that last 3 Clay hit, I made a false step towards Iguodala, and that's all he need. You know what I mean? Clay is tough. He guards, he shoots. You know what I mean? So we let him get loose. And, first half, I don't think Steph had scored at all or anything, and the game was tied, So, like I said, give them credit. They made the big plays, and, they beat us.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so let's go back to where we were. As obviously Chris Paul, unhappy. Look, he played well for a majority of the game, 11 and 19, 27 points. At 11 boards and 6 assists. I mean, he was hooping and hitting buckets.
And hold on now, because I know all summer, all I heard about was, man, if we would have had Chris Paul. All I heard was, if we would have had Chris Paul, we would have beat those Golden State Warriors. We would have won
with Kevin Durant.
Yeah, guaranteed. If Chris Paul played, we would have won. Fast forward, no Kevin Durant. Chris Paul plays. Chris Paul played well. This isn't a knock at Chris Paul, but the excuse last year for the Rockets was, well, we were hurt. We lost because Chris Paul didn't play. Well, now Kevin Durant doesn't play.
Yep.
Golden State goes out there and wins. That is what everybody wanted the Rockets to do last year. Just go out and win. Take care of business. Golden State took care of business. Houston didn't. 2 years in a row.
Here's Steve Kerr.
I just want to say congrats to Houston. That team, it's one of the very best teams we've played, during this 5-year run. They put so much pressure on you at both ends of the floor. It's a tremendous two-way basketball team, and we had to scrap and fight for everything the last 2 years against them, and we've been fortunate enough to come out on top. And obviously, it speaks to our group and their toughness and talent, but I can't speak any more highly of Houston and their grit and their competitiveness and their talent. That was an absolute grind, just like last year's. It's a great basketball team, but we're thrilled to be moving on and excited to have this one in our rearview mirror. And now we've got a lot more work ahead, but very satisfying victory tonight.
Coach, you called your team effing giants after the last win. What would you call them now, and speak on their performance?
Just giants. Not going to swear tonight. They're giants. They're champions. These guys are a historically good basketball team, and you don't do this. You don't do what these guys have done without an incredible combination of talent and character. And I could go down the list, but I thought, Steph epitomized that tonight. 0 points at halftime, 3 fouls, a complete non-factor in the game, and then just completely took over the game on a night when everything was going wrong. And he found a way to turn it around. I also want to single out the bench. Just an amazing night from a group of guys who have not played this entire series. Houston put so much pressure on you in isolation that, frankly, we just decided to stick with our best defenders over the first 5 games. And obviously injuries forced us to use the bench. I probably should have used them earlier. Over the years, we've played a lot of people. We like to use our bench. We talk about strength in numbers. But the coach wasn't doing much of that the first 5 games. So it's I'm just incredibly proud of Jordan and Jonas. Kevon had a great series, but Quinn Cook to do what he did tonight, coming into the game without really having played the whole series. Those guys were amazing and really a huge factor in the win.
Coach, much has been made about Steph's, foul trouble throughout the series, and he got those quick 4 early. Can you talk about how he was able to balance that with that incredible second half?
Well, that's what Steph does. I mean, I actually told his mom and dad after the game. I said, if that game didn't personify Steph Curry, I don't know what did. I mean, he's a guy who can make some plays that leave you scratching your head. The fouls, some of the turnovers, not tonight, but sometimes he just makes plays and you kind of look around thinking, what is he doing? But most of the time he makes these incredible plays and he's just fearless. And that's what makes him who he is. So he reminds me a little bit of Manu Ginobili, not so much in the style of play, but in the kind of swashbuckling nature, Manu used to drive Pop nuts. My last year with the Spurs was Manu's rookie year, and Pop would be pulling his hair out, and that's how I felt when I started coaching Steph. He makes these plays that nobody could have taught him this stuff. You wonder what he's thinking, and then you sort of realize after a while, leave him alone. He's so good that he's going to counteract the few crazy plays he makes with an amazing number of good ones and clutch ones. He's an incredible basketball player, a wonderful leader for our team, and just made some amazing plays down the stretch.
Steve, Marcus Thompson with The Athletic. You talked a lot about how great Andre has been. When he's on the court, how does it make you feel knowing that he's out there and he's defending and handling the ball and doing what he does?
It's like when your kids are at home and there's a babysitter there. That's Andre. Like you just feel more comfortable knowing there's an adult out there who's keeping everybody settled down. That game, I think, was probably not winnable without Andre's contributions. Making 5 threes. He made a few of them, I think 2 or 3 in the first half when we were really struggling without Steph. And I thought Clay also kept us going in that first half. But Andre just does so much for us at both ends of the floor. I mean, there's a reason he has had the career he's had. He's been Finals MVP. He's a multi-time champion, Olympian, All-Star. Andre's an incredible basketball player.
Coach, earlier you talked about your bench. I'm right here in the middle. Earlier you talked about your bench, but could you go into a little bit more detail about how big Kevon Looney was? Because Game 5, he came in the first quarter and gave you all a lot of energy, and then tonight he came out 14 big points. And he also kind of rendered Clint Capella ineffective.
Looney has been a rock for us all year, one of our key contributors. He's wise beyond his years. He's a guy who just understands the game and makes the right play over and over again. Really, really smart, and he's so easy to coach. And his teammates have so much respect for him. And he was great all series, and big tonight as well.
Now that y'all have advanced, do you feel like there's a chance that Durant could be back for the next round?
We're going to reevaluate him, I think, in a week, and we'll see. There's really no way of making any predictions right now. It's an injury that requires sort of an update every few days, and so as of now, we don't have any updates.
Hey, Steve. Phil Barber, Santa Rosa Press, Democrat. Obviously, the objective was to survive and advance any way you could, but with the schedule of the next round being so tough with a game every other day, how valuable is it to win here, not have to take it to 7 and get a couple days to rest for that?
Yeah, I mean, we just wanted to win the series, but this is ideal. I probably give the players the weekend off and just to recuperate and then get ready for whoever we're playing, Tuesday night. But, that game will be at home, so we'll have at least the next few days to prepare and recover, and so this was a huge win for us tonight, especially considering how many minutes a lot of our core guys played in this series.
You mentioned Pop, and so I would ask you, what did you say to your team knowing you were struggling but you were tied at halftime? Steph 0 points. Could you give us a little insight of what you said to them?
That's basically what I said. I said, we know Steph's going to get going, and we're tied, and we're doing a great job. I loved the first half. I thought we competed like crazy, and we had key contributions off the bench, and so to go in on the road with Steph Curry with 3 fouls and no points, and you're tied, we felt pretty good about it, and that's what we talked about.
Steve, obviously Clay has had games like this. What have you noticed about big settings and the mentality that it takes to come up with a game like this? I
mean, Clay's just been doing this for so long. He's one of the best two-way players in the game. He's guarding James Harden and Chris Paul and Gordon. He's guarding their best players, and then coming down and he had 21 points in the first half to carry us with Steph struggling. This is who Clay is. This is why he's such a great player. He's been doing this for a long time.
Valencia King, straight ahead, third row with Real Talk Sports. Coach, before the season began, you kind of put to rest any conversations about Quinn Cook and him stepping into his own. Being able that you were able to lean on him tonight, just how important is that for you as a coach?
Well, you have to have guys like Quinn on the bench who you can count on. whether they're in the rotation or not. And Quinn has been a rock for us the last couple of years. So happy and proud of him, to come out tonight and play 16 really important minutes when he had barely played the entire series. But so that's why he's on this team. He's a pro.
Steve, to your left, Reed Forgrave with CBS Sports. If you could humor me with a dumb sports writer question. Considering the circumstances and the curveball you were throwing with Kevin's injury and with DeMarcus's injury, where do you rank this win over the past 5 years, like as far as your guys' playoff runs?
Yeah, I mean, that's not a dumb question. Don't beat yourself up on that one. We were actually talking about it in there. It's one of the most satisfying victories we've had during this run. We've been blessed to have all this talent and competitiveness, and these guys are they're just amazing. So they've won a lot of big games, but this is definitely one of the most satisfying we've had.
Two more, front row here. Coach, we can look at the box scores and you can talk about the great numbers your players put up, but can you talk about just the mindset, that championship mindset, and how you get there? I mean, I know some of it is innate to each of them, but how do you get to that?
Well, it takes unique individuals on the team. The players who you have to have talent, but you have to have guys who are committed to each other and unafraid of the moment. And I thought you saw that tonight with Steph down the stretch. But Draymond, how hard he plays night in and night out. And I think once you win the first one, as a group, it gives you more confidence to win the next one. And I think that's what's happened over the last few years. Our guys just believe that they can do this. It gets more and more difficult physically, but I think mentally, since you've already done it, you can do it again.
Coach, did the energy level after the game in the locker room remind you some of your great nights, for the past?
Yeah, I mean, it shows you how much respect we have for Houston. I mean, we just finished a conference semifinal series. We're only halfway home to where we want to be, and yet the celebration in there was felt like a much bigger occasion, and it's because of the challenge that this team put before us. So